change their ways. We ask you to give them the wisdom to direct the economy of this country. We ask you to look at the governance and ask them to change the governance of this country. Father, as we pray, we come together as one people and ask you to make the changes that you see necessary in a very peaceful way. We ask, Lord, more than anything else, for the blood that is flowing in this country. We ask you to have pity on us. We ask you to speak to our young men and women, touch our hearts, and change the direction of this country. Father, we pray for our political leaders, our chairman, and members of our party, and ask you for wisdom as we have this meeting and as we communicate with our people. Be with us, Lord. Let the Holy Spirit cover us, protect us, and guide us as a nation, as a people, and a party. We make this prayer in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, who's Lord, forever and ever. Amen.
Music. At this time, we ask that you stand at attention with us as we listen to and sing our national anthem. Thank you. Thank you, my brothers and my sisters. Good night, my sisters and brothers. Come closer. Those of you who are a little distant, please come closer. I wish to welcome you to the market steps. And I wish to welcome you and say to you how pleased we are that you are here, and you are here very early tonight. I thank you, my sisters and brothers, and I ask that you join us for this journey tonight. I also welcome all those who are listening to us on Choice Television. I welcome all those who are listening to us on Carry FM 93.1. And I welcome all those who are listening and watching on Facebook. All those who are listening and watching on channel 112, Flow, Digital 39 on the old Lime, and 50 on the old Flow channel. We welcome all of you, those of you who are listening and watching right here in St. Lucia, but also those of you who are listening and watching from countries all over the world. Let us give those who are listening and watching from countries all over the world a wonderful St. Lucia Labour Party and St. Lucian welcome to this meeting, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome one, welcome all. My brothers and sisters, I wish to recognize the Supreme and Almighty God. The Almighty God who holds power and dominion over all men and women. C'est bon Dieu qui met ek nom ek femme peut faire ça yo vle, mais c'est bon Dieu qui met. I thank the Almighty God for life and for the opportunity to serve our people. Thanks to you, the people of Labour, and in general, the people of St. Lucia, who have joined us on the market steps tonight. We appreciate your interest and your support. Merci tout le monde. Nous n'avons pas parole pour parler au soir. Merci tout le monde. We are here tonight on the market steps to call on every St. Lucian, whether in St. Lucia or out of St. Lucia, to take a stand to save our country and our country's future from the actions of this present UWP government, my brothers and sisters. The UWP of today, my brothers and sisters, has been transformed into a machine with blades fashioned by greed to tear into the history and identity of us St. Lucians. Our fight with the UWP of today is not only the fight over principles and philosophy. Long ago, my brothers and sisters, we fought the UWP over their principles and their philosophy. Today, our fight with the UWP is for the treasures that have been entrusted to us by our grandparents through their blood, their sweat, and their tears. The treasures like Pigeon Point, the treasures like our free beaches of Sandy Beach in Vieux Fort, the treasures like the George Odlum National Stadium, donated to us by our Chinese friends, the treasures like our fisheries complexes, donated by the Canadians and the Japanese friends that we have, the treasures like access to modern tools of education, like the laptops donated to us by our Venezuelan friends and other friends in the region. My sisters and brothers, today's fight with the UWP is a fight over greed, a fight over their greed to take away what is St. Lucian. And that is the fight that we have with Alan Chasney and the whole UWP, my brothers and sisters. So tonight, we are here to speak with you. And we are here to ask you and to ask the people of St. Lucia, in St. Lucia and all around the world, whether you are happy with your country today, my sisters and brothers. When we speak to you tonight, we want to explain to you why we must march on Sunday, so that we can save also the St. Jude Hospital from the United Workers' Party and from Chasney and Guy Joseph and Mary Isaac. We want to explain to you why we must save the St. Jude Hospital from the clutches of greed of those people, my sisters and brothers. Tonight we will be addressed by Sister Alvina Reynolds, the former parliamentary representative of Babuno, my brothers and sisters. Tonight, you will listen to and share experiences with the Honorable Sean Edwards from Denry North, my brothers and sisters. Tonight, you will hear from the Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the member for Castries South. This evening, my brothers and sisters, you will also hear from the Honorable Alva Baptiste from Labrie. Alva Baptiste being our first deputy political leader, and Honorable Sean Edward, our second deputy political leader. Tonight also, you will hear from our political leader, the five-term, five-star general, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, my brothers and sisters. And so I welcome you to the Castries Market Steps tonight. Moi vle di tout moun ki oswea nou n'y a chay bagay pou diskite. Oswea nou di pou diskite pou ki sa nou oblige ale match dimanche. Parce que si nou pa fe sa, UWP kay Point St. Jude ek nou pa sa kite yo fe sa yo vle epi l'hôpital nou set lisi. My name, my sisters and brothers, is Moses Jabatis. Most people know me as Musa. I'm the Member of Parliament for Vieux Fort North, the wonderful and beautiful constituency of Vieux Fort North. And also, my brothers and sisters, the former Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Production, Rural Development and Cooperatives in St. Lucia. And I am humbled by this. I also wish to say that I am also the newly elected chairman of the St. Lucia Labour Party, my brothers and sisters. I wish to welcome to this meeting also members of the platform. We have with us Brother Tom Walcott, who is the longest serving chairman of the St. Lucia Labour Party, going strong. We have former parliamentarians, Sister Emma Hippolyte, who represented Grozile, my sisters and brothers. We also have with us the Honorable Gideon Ferdinand from the constituency of Miku South, our senator in our parliament. We have with us Brother John Victorin out of Vansleray Canaries. Sister Austina Fanus is here with us. We have Brother Joachim Henry, my sisters and brothers. The treasurer of our party is here with us, my brothers and sisters. Our legal officer is here. And we have many other members. Sister Alison Joseph, our welfare officer. Our general secretary, Brother Leo Clark. And many other stalwarts of our party. If you look to my right, you will see the platform is populated by stalwarts of the St. Lucia Labour Party, hard-working women of the St. Lucia Labour Party who have fought hard for our party. Let's give them a round of applause, my brothers and sisters. And so tonight, we invite all of you to stay with us. Those of you who are following on the internet, you can tune to the St. Lucia Labour Party website and you can join us tonight. And my brothers and sisters, without further ado, because we have a lot to discuss tonight. We have a lot to discuss tonight. I wish at this time to bring to the podium, my brothers and sisters, to bring to the podium a sister who represented us well in the cabinet led by Dr. Kennedy Anthony. A sister who was responsible for the Ministry of Health, my sisters and brothers. A sister who is not lost like the one who is now responsible for health. A sister who does not look lost, but a sister who knew what she was about, and a sister who knows what she is about. I wish to welcome to the podium to address you, my brothers and sisters, and help welcome Sister Alvina Reynolds to speak to you about the health crisis in St. Lucia, my sisters and brothers. Let's welcome her.
A new day dawning, emphatic calling. No time for stalling. Let's go, let's go. Wake up everyone who's sleeping. Meet me on the road. New inspiration, no contemplation. Deliberation. Let's go, let's go. Wake up everyone who's sleeping. Meet me on the road.
My sisters and my brothers, good night. The sons and daughters of St. Lucia, good night. Before I indulge you, I pray that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, O Lord. Let me greet my political leader, deputy political leaders, Chair, Brother Tom Walcott, and members of National Council, and especially you, our General Secretary, and especially you, the beautiful sons and daughters of Fair Helen. Good night again to you. How are you feeling tonight? It has been a while. It has been a while since we last had a chat. And what has been happening to you since we last spoke? Kisa ki te ka fet a community, a caillou, a voisinage since the last time that we spoke to you. Was there anything good happening in your neck of the woods? Was there anything good happening in Soufrière? Anything good happening in Vieux-Fort? Anything good happening in Gros-Islet? I can tell you there's nothing good happening in Babono. But more than that tonight, I want to talk to you about a business. Your business and my business. That's very important. Our health business in this country. Health which affects our wealth. Our health sector is sick. Our health sector is affected by diseases and conditions. And nobody is telling you. Nobody is diagnosing. Nobody is giving treatment to the health sector. It is dying under Minister Mary Isaac. And worse yet, she doesn't even know that the health sector is dying. And she will not talk to you. There's a gag on her mouth. Well, I want to ask Mary Isaac some questions tonight. The Minister of Health does nothing to promote healthy lifestyle. And the Labour Party started for you a healthy lifestyle regime. Where else had you seen ministers of cabinet taking HIV tests? Where else had you seen ministers of cabinet walking down in the tracksuit? They set and they left for you a fine example of keeping healthy. What has Mary Isaac done to continue that? She cannot prevent diseases. She will not and cannot diagnose. And she cannot and will not prescribe. And even when treatment is suggested to her, she will not take it. When there are interventions given to her, she will not take it. Worse yet, the experts, the persons who have studied for years, the doctors, the nurses, the officers in the healthcare department, when they suggest to her, she will not listen. Her ears are blocked. Her eyes are blocked. See and hear nothing to improve the health system. And you know what? Usav Kikafet. Our nurses are going home. The most experienced, those who are on sessions, most experienced, years and years of experience under their belts, they are being sent home. As of November, they're on their way out. As of March next year, the last batch, who is giving the experience to the young nurses? Pliwes, l'année nance qui dit bon skill, kapati ale l'Amérique, kapati ale l'Angleterre, et qui sa ministre a dit? Qui te yo ale? Ayen? Nothing said, nothing done. Our experts, our experienced experts are leaving the health sector in droves and nothing is said. Midwives, when you go to the hospital to give birth, our midwives are leaving. They are being sent home. Who will take care of the pregnant women on the hospital beds? Who will take care of you ladies, sisters? Who will take care of your girlfriend and your wives, my brothers, when they are pregnant and go to hospital? If our midwives are living, we are in trouble. Our babies are in trouble. There is crisis in the health sector. And I was advised by a healthcare professional a few days ago. I was advised as a woman, because she's a woman, and I'll say it here tonight. She said, 1, don't get pregnant. 2, don't get sick. All finish. Don't get pregnant. Don't get sick. This is how bad it is. This is the advice that I have been given. This is what the health sector is looking like today. After 4.5 years of a Labour Party government investing millions and millions of dollars across St. Lucia in health sector facilities. C'est ça nous joigne. C'est ça nous joigne, les apporter Mary Isaac. In fact, ma même savent qui mon minister of health. I'm seeing an engineer, the guy who's an engineer, a medical engineer. I am seeing a Shasne who's talking about a hospital in Cayman, the best concept. And I'm seeing a nurse or a doctor, Mary Isaac. I have no idea who is the minister for health. Let's talk about the facilities. The healthcare sector is sick. We do not have enough people to take care of you. You remember the nice workers who were at the hospitals? You remember them? What has happened? Nurses have to empty bedpans. They have to mop. They have to change bed sheets. They have to do all of this because they sent home the nice workers. Pressure on our healthcare workers. Stress on our healthcare workers. We are under pressure in the health sector. And worse yet, plus mauvais, the facilities, the institutions that were built to repair you when you get sick, to heal you when you get sick, they are either not repairing them, not opening them, or planning to demolish all of them or part of them, or to lease it, or to privatize it, or to partner with them. They have no idea what to do with your 2 hospitals. 2 beautiful state-of-the-art facilities in the Owen King EU Hospital and St. Jude Hospital. The United Workers' Party has no idea what to do with your 2 beautiful hospitals. What kind of government is this? What kind of leaders do we have here? Health is wealth. Health is priority. Health should be number 1. With no health, your people will perish. With no health, your people will die. Do they care about your health? Do they care about your health? The biggest crisis, the biggest disaster in the ministry is Mary Isaac. She knows not what to do. I have a few questions for Mary Isaac tonight. Minister Mary Isaac, what did you do with the over $300,000 that we left for you to repair the Larry Seuss Health Center in Dennery? What did you do with the over $300,000 we left for you to take care of the Larry Seuss Health Center in Dennery? Qui ça ou fait que l'argent ça là? Ek Mama et Dennery, they are squashing and stressed out in Richford, falling over each other in Richford Health Center. You mean to tell me the $5 million for Ojo Labs, a little bit of that could not fix up Larry Seuss Health Center? a little bit of that could not take care of Larry Sue's health center. It's still burned down there. Minister Mary Isaac. I welcome our former political leader. I have another question for Minister Mary Isaac. Why did you and your cabinet stop the plans to set up the Diabetes Research Center? Look at the number of people we have with diabetes in St. Lucia. Pour qui ça, ou du bout, plan, pour set up Center for Diabetics at St. Lucie. I have the report right here. Was going to be set up and financed by a company in Switzerland. That has stopped. People came down here, professors came down here, that has stopped. This was started by the St. Lucia Labour Party government. We were right on track. Labour was right on track with your health care. Another question for Mary Isaac. What is happening to the brand new plans we left for you for universal health care? What has happened to those plans? Labour commencé, yo dubutli. Nou viye commencé encore. They are back in office. 17 months, not one word about UHC. What is happening to your health care, my brothers and sisters? How many of you can pay thousands of dollars for your medications and for your operations? Next question for Mary Isaac. All of those questions. This is why you march on Sunday. This is why you're marching on Sunday. Ancillary, the plans were approved for state-of-the-art health center in Ancillary. Mary Isaac, what has happened to those plans for the brand new health center in Ancillary? Ancillary people, this is why you march on Sunday. What has happened? What is happening to the Bois-Joli Polyclinic that we started in Dennery? Dennery people, that is why you march on Sunday. Grosile people, we extended hours for you up to midnight at the Grosile Polyclinic. The plan was to get a 24-hour service at the Grosile Polyclinic. What has happened to those plans? Grosile people, this is why you march on Sunday. For your services in the north for the people of St. Lucia. As a government, the Labour Party government, we were ready to move into the Owen King Hospital. We set up commissioning teams. Nous te dit ti moun ka travay ki manière nous kay sorti en Victoria et en trouver un bel new facilité. Sans accident, sans incident. Nous te dit teams pour faire ça en Vieux-Fort at Victoria Hospital. What has happened to those teams? What has happened to those teams of people set up to move the people and the equipment to the new hospitals? St. Lucia, my sisters and brothers, this is why you march on Sunday. Your Labour Party had a plan set out for you for health care. We had plans to bring our staff to the medical complex. Saint-Lucien, est-ce ou changer plan, c'est pour a medical complex? Do you remember there were 3 facilities on the hill? The Turning Point, the Mental Wellness Center, and the new hospital. Est-ce ou changer ça? We have 2, we're missing the 1. What is happening to Owen King Hospital? What is happening to the work on the cafeteria? Are you paying the contractors? The laundry, the parking lot, what is happening? This is why you march on Sunday for the opening of your brand new Owen King Hospital. Minister Mary Isaac, she steps into St. Jude Hospital and says, from the time she walked in there, she could tell it was not good for a hospital. Qui moun qui a pointé Mary Isaac engineer? Côté Mary Isaac allait l'école pour faire ingénieur. How many hospitals has Mary taught? My brothers and sisters, I want an answer to this question. This was the plan set already by the United Workers' Party. They planned all along. They wanted to demolish St. Jude. I said to them, not one block they're touching from St. Jude Hospital. Not one block will be removed. Not one block will be broken down. I say, you finish the hospital, you equip the hospital, and you open St. Jude Hospital. The St. Lucia Labour Party government never stopped working on St. Jude. We never stopped the work on St. Jude. Why nous pas jamais de travail à sous l'hôpital St. Jude? Jamais pas. Nous cherchons l'argent en l'air, en bas, tout partout. Nous cherchons l'argent. Travail qui continue. À part du temps, nous travaillons à tout St. Jude. Nous ouvrons l'hôpital d'Henrian. A brand new at Itang, a brand new at Entrepot, a brand new at Tiroche, brand new at Laguerre. More health centers open under the St. Lucia Labour Party ever in the 54 months. And we never stop working on the St. Jude Hospital. And you're telling me you cannot finish the work that we started? You want to break it down? You want to break? I say you cannot touch this. You have to send a message to the people in that old cabinet who have no plans, no vision. They are clueless, lunacy in authority. You have to send a message to them that they cannot touch your hospital. You have worked too hard. You have worked too hard. 17 months. 17 months. I ain't perfect. Almost $1 million for an audit report. Juste toujours, il faut passer au Parlement. So 17 months and $1 million and your hospital cannot be finished. If they had continued working, si yo te continué travail là, l'hôpital là ja ouvert, moi ka do ça. We have a message to send to them. We have a message to send to them. Let health be the priority. We will march and say no demolition. Not one block, not part of it, not half of it, no demolition of St. Jude. Why? Why do you want to move into another space and use that hospital for something else? Why? Moi ni a question, moi besoin réponse. Is that government looking for a fresh start? Are they looking for a fresh start at St. Jude? Somebody wants to make a fresh start at St. Jude Hospital. I say there is no way. Tout bouché. Let us block St. Jude on Sunday. No way. And as I close, people of St. Lucia, Mama is certainly see. I swear, la ni moun ka passe pour dire, sou vle faire, member St. Lucia Labour Party. Join something. Stand up with the St. Lucia Labour Party and stand up for St. Lucia. We are not afraid. Do not be afraid to speak out. Do not be afraid to raise your fist and let the red flag fly high. Do not be afraid to fight for your health. Do not be afraid to fight for your children's health. Do not be afraid to fight for your children's education. Do not be afraid to march, because the St. Lucia Labour Party government left for you a great work, a great layout in healthcare. All Flabo had to do was to follow the plan we left for them and take care of you, and take care of your children, and take care of the elderly, and take care of persons with disabilities. That is all we left for them to do. We left the plans, we left money, we left the way forward, but they have all kinds of new, fresh ideas. So I say to you tonight, as I leave, look out for the persons and join the St. Lucia Labour Party. And I will see you. I will see you in. I will see you in. At what time? At what time? À qui jour? Qui les joue? À qui les? À qui les? We are going to send a message to the United Workers' Party government. No demolition. No other use. Finish St. Jude. Equip St. Jude. And open our hospital now. I thank you. I bless you. Long live the St. Lucia Labour Party. Sisters and brothers, good night.
Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, oh, oh. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, oh, oh. Got to find a
Let's say it once again for Sister Alvina Reynolds. Our Sister Alvina Reynolds did a wonderful job, my brothers and sisters, in the health sector. Let me welcome Dr. Kenny Anthony, the Member of Parliament for Vieux-Fort South, and former Prime Minister. My sisters and brothers, différence là qui ni entre Flambeau avec les bas, les vins pour l'hôpital Saint-Jude, moi kay de ou. Là il y a une grande différence. Les bas en pouvoir, les bas pas jamais du bout de travail à l'hôpital là, consiste à Alvina Reynolds de ou. Les bas pas jamais du bout acheter l'argent qui Flambeau pas te quitter là, les nous entrer en gouvernement pour finir l'hôpital Saint-Jude. Les bas travaillent tous les jours, les en pouvoir pour finir l'hôpital Saint-Jude. Jour élection, la teni moun ka travaille pour finir l'hôpital Saint-Jude. Jour après élection, la teni moun ka travaille toujours pour finir l'hôpital Saint-Jude. Flambeau gagne élection, yo a tout en pouvoir, yo mois après, en juillet, yo du bout de travail à l'hôpital Saint-Jude. J'y conjoue qu'aujourd'hui. That is the fundamental difference between the treatment of the St. Jude Hospital project under UWP and under the St. Lucia Labour Party. They stopped the project. They stopped the project. The St. Lucia Labour Party never stopped working on the St. Jude Hospital. It was always our intention to return the hospital to the doctors, the nurses, and the patients. Today, it is not the intention of the United Workers' Party to return the St. Jude Hospital to the patients. You got to do about repurpose. Repurpose. You got to do about demolition. And today you got to do demolition don't really mean demolition. We do not trust what Alan Chasney and the UWP say. Ça c'est même Alan Chasney qui dit la bagaille ni pièce DSH à la Sandy Beach. You remember that? That's the same Prime Minister who said that T.O. King has money to build a racetrack. And afterward he said, it's our passport money that will build a racetrack. That's the same Prime Minister. That's the same Prime Minister who said that DSH will not touch the mangroves in Vieux-Fort. And afterwards he comes back to say that he's giving T.O. King all the lands in Vieux-Fort. We cannot trust what UWP say about St. Jude Hospital. So as far as we are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, when Mary Isaac said they want to demolish St. Jude, I believe they want to demolish St. Jude. And we have to work to stop it. So don't tell us the Prime Minister say they will not demolish St. Jude. He also said Sandy Beach is not part of DSH. And next day they showed you skyscrapers on Sandy Beach. No pass, I trust you. My brothers and sisters, I want to bring to you a comrade and a colleague who has experience, a man who has experience in external affairs, and a man who was a diplomat, a man who has experience in youth affairs, and a man who is working very hard on the ground in Castries South and in the Castries Basin to ensure that come the next election, the Castries Southeast seat returns to the St. Lucia Labour Party and returns to the Parliament. I bring to you a man who, in the Parliament of St. Lucia, my brothers and sisters, represents you well and makes them tremble and jump, and speaker taking break and speaker going outside and coming back, my brothers and sisters. I want to bring to you Dr. the Honorable Ernest Hilaire to address you.
Here will we hospital.
Long time we waiting.
Here will we hospital.
Long time we waiting.
Here will we hospital.
You feed them, you dragging.
Here will we hospital.
Long time we waiting.
Good night, brothers and sisters. Bonsoir, for Labour family, tonight I want your attention. I want you to listen carefully. I want you to pay attention because I want you to be able to answer some questions with me. And the flabbos are everywhere asking questions. And I want you to ask them a few questions. But for you to be able to ask them the questions, you need some information. So tonight, we are at the University of the Market Steps. Let us talk. Let us talk. Tomorrow, there'll be a crime symposium. A crime symposium. Now, the UWPs did not want to accept Philip J. Pierre's suggestion that they have no answers and they need to have a symposium. Because for them, if they have a symposium, it means they have no answers for true. It means they do not have any solutions for true. So they're resisting to have the symposium. Philip J. Pierre told them, bring everybody together and let's talk about crime in St. Lucia. Let's talk about crime. Now they're afraid to invite the Labour Party because we might come there and have more ideas than them. Because, I'll tell you something, before we mention crime, they tell us don't politicize crime. Do not politicize crime. We are not politicizing crime. We were the ones saying don't politicize crime. We were the ones saying to them that yes, there is a crime problem in the country. But if you make people believe that it is Kenny Anthony causing all the murders, all the rapes, if you make people believe it's Alvina Reynolds, that it is Philip J. Pierre, the problem will not be solved. You do not solve crime by politicizing it. You don't. Now, when you open that door, you cannot close it. When you open that door, you cannot close it. And Alan Chasney opened the door when he stood up and he said, is Kenny Anthony making St. Lucia safer for you? And the entire crowd said no. And he said, I will make St. Lucia safer for you. And they said yes. And since then, they've had about 70 murders in St. Lucia. He politicized crime, he opened that door, and now he cannot close that door. Because then we go to the symposium tomorrow. If we have to list the number of things we have done in this country, no government has ever done more to fight crime in St. Lucia than the St. Lucia Labour Party. Let me tell you, you can start off with building the most modern correctional facility in the entire Eastern Caribbean at Bordelais. The most modern in the entire Eastern Caribbean. When we were building the prisons, they were criticizing it. They said it was better to keep prisoners right there on Bridge Street. They criticized Kenny Anthony and the Labour Party. Who built more police stations in this country? From Richford, Dennery, Micoud, Vieux-Fort, Ancillary. Who built more police stations in this country than the St. Lucia Labour Party? Which government increased the size of the police force? The St. Lucia Labour Party. Which government increased the prosecution service? The St. Lucia Labour Party. And you know what? We did not believe that the way to fight crime is only through legal means. We introduced the most social programs ever in this country because we believe we have to go to the source of the problem. We ensured that we had facilities in place for young people throughout St. Lucia on the playing fields and the Sean Edwards. We made sure, and they criticized the STEP program bitterly, but there was a reason why we had to do it, to make sure that poverty does not remain a cause of crime, that people who could not find jobs will get some measure of assistance to keep them going. We introduced NICE to make sure that in the difficult times, we would not abandon people who face hardship in this country, because we believe that some of those things are causes for crime. Think about it, my brothers and sisters. We introduced programs to help parents who had children going to school who could not afford books. And in the last campaign, we also announced that we were going to have a program to help needy parents to pay for CXC subjects. And right now, in my office, in all the parliamentarians' office, including the UWP parliamentarians, parents going now for assistance because they have to pay their CXC subjects and they cannot pay it. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. A child goes to school for 5 years, and when the time comes to pay the subject, the parents does not have the money. That child does not even have the ability to do the exams. So what's the worth of the 5 years for that child? What does that child think that I've spent 5 years in school studying and I'm leaving school unable to even do my subjects and to have anything to show that I achieved anything at school for 5 years? And if you think about it, you're starting to understand causes for crime. Causes for crime. So we not only did the most to fight crime, we demonstrated that the crime rate was starting to decrease under the St. Lucia Labour Party. We're not saying that there were no murders, that there were no rapes. We're not saying that. But we were fighting hard to reduce crime in this country. And Alan Chasney and the UWP politicized it. And from the day they opened that door, it cannot be closed as yet. And you know what hurt me most about this? I'll tell you something. When the Minister of National Security was appointed, Honorable Herman Gill Francis, let me tell you, a lot of St. Lucians had confidence. They really thought Herman Gill, who was a top cop, would be able to address this situation and stop it. People thought so. They thought so. And you know when I really gave up on Herman Gill Francis? When he announced he had a letter that they sent to him to say that they're trying to kill him. So people in St. Lucia are afraid of murder, and the top man responsible is saying they want to kill me too. You're looking for a little relief, you're looking for a little strength, and the person who is minister in charge telling you, even me they want to kill too. So, Balfinipu. Now, and let me tell you something. You can ask how many ministers, former ministers on this platform, how many times they've gotten death threats. How many times they've gotten death threats? Was it ever made public? No. And when people are desperate now, when they look into you, Ukadi, me too. Me too. So tomorrow, there'll be a crime symposium. Let's wait and see what comes out of it. As far as I know, the political leader will speak about that. But the Labour Party position is very clear, and it was stated in the House. we will participate in any meaningful effort to build a national consensus to fight against crime in this country. We've made it very clear. The second topic I want to talk to you about, and I want you to really listen to me, the unemployment figures. The unemployment figures. Now, I don't want to start criticizing any technical officer. I don't want to say anybody doctored the figures. I don't want to have any conspiracy theory. I just want you to listen. Just listen to me. And at the end of it, I want to ask you if this does not sound wrong. Something sounds wrong about those figures. So listen to me. Hear this. We heard, according to the figures, that in July to September this year, 5,000 jobs were created. 5,000 jobs were created. Hear that? Let me continue. Don't say they lie yet. The biggest increase of that 5,000 jobs, the biggest increase was in agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. The biggest increase. It moved from 6,800 people employed in that sector to 9,000. So in agriculture, fisheries, and forestry, they created 2,200 jobs in 3 months. In 3 months. Most of those jobs, they said, were skilled workers. You know, maybe people working in the banana field, fishermen, whatnot. But when you look at the figures, all of a sudden, there's 0 managers in agriculture. There are no more professionals in agriculture. They have no technicians working in agriculture anymore. There's no clerical support staff working in agriculture. And I want to ask the question, how in April, May, June, you had so many people working as managers, clerical staff, technical jobs, and by July, August, September, 0, 0, 0. And you created 2,400 jobs for skilled workers in the field. Now think about it. How could the entire sector have no managers working in it? None. In 3 months, all of them lost their jobs, all of them disappeared. Now hear this. The second largest increase was in the accommodation and food services area. Accommodation meaning hotels, food services meaning restaurants. There were 12,800 people working there between April, May, June. 12,800. It moved to 14,800. So in 3 months, they created 2,000 jobs in hotels and restaurants in St. Lucia. 2,000 jobs in 3 months. Managers moved from 900 to 1,500. So in 3 months, they employed 600 new managers in hotels and restaurants in St. Lucia. 600. 600. Let's look at the education sector. Now the education sector are all the 100 schools in St. Lucia, all the ministry, all the medical schools, and all Guy Joseph 10 schools he said he's going to build. Okay, so that's the education sector. In that education sector, listen to that. The jobs, they had 4,300 people working in that sector. In the 3 months, it increased by 1,400 in the education sector. If you have 100 schools in St. Lucia, you have to employ 14 new teachers in every single school in St. Lucia to get 1,400 new jobs in St. Lucia. Did that happen? No. Did that happen? No. In that same education sector, they say managers increased from 400 to 700. We have 400 to 700 managers increase in that sector. We have about 100 schools in St. Lucia. That means at least 7 new managers in every school was found jobs in St. Lucia. Now remember, just remember, that's vacation time, huh? So tout l'école fermée. So all schools closed. Then here this, you heard Alvina spoke a while ago. The next sector was human health and social workers. Hospitals, health centers, social workers. They created 1,100 jobs in 3 months in hospitals, health centers, social workers in St. Lucia. 1,100 new jobs. Now, I want to continue because I really want to ask you whether those figures sounding right. I didn't say anybody doctored the figures. I'm telling you something does not sound right. In administrative and support services, that's secretaries, people working in different offices, whatnot. They lost 1,000 jobs in the 3 months. 1,000 jobs were lost in St. Lucia in offices and different business places in St. Lucia. 1,000 jobs. In the public service and defense meaning police, whatnot, 2,100 jobs lost. Where did they fire 2,100 people in the public service in St. Lucia during those 3 months? Doesn't something sound wrong about those figures? Now listen to this. It becomes even more bizarre. And I want you when you meet the Flabos to ask them about it. Listen to this. In Castries Central, the figures said 1,100 jobs were lost in Castries Central. Castries Rural, that means all the surrounding constituencies that border in Castries, 6,000 new jobs were created. It is in Ancillary Canaries, 2,000 new jobs were created. In Soufrière, 500 new jobs were created. In Strozel, 1,100 new jobs were created. And header one, Alva will be happy. In Labrie, 3,000 new jobs were created. In Miku, 500 new jobs were created. In Vieux-Fort, 2,800 jobs were lost. Dennery, 300 new jobs. And in Grosile, 4,200 jobs lost. Lost. Now, let me tell you again, those figures, how bizarre they are. How bizarre. Because people talking. You have to take the figures and analyze them. Listen to this. The figure says, in Labrie, 1,000 jobs were created in accommodation and food services. 1,000 jobs created in Labrie, in hotels and restaurants. Key Hotel Labrie Nicosa. 1,000 new jobs. It is again. In retail and wholesale, retail meaning tea boutique, wholesale, Usav Kisa wholesale, yeah. In Labrie alone, 600 new jobs in retail and wholesale. Bagaika Bouma Labrie. Alva ka travail, même si yo. That's why he went in suit tonight. Travail ka travail comme ça. In Strozel, 500 jobs were created in accommodation sector, in hotels in Strozel. 500. 200 jobs were created in education. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't make up those figures. I didn't make it up. I took the report that the Statistics Department released and I analyzed it. And that's what it shows. So they created 5,000 jobs and unemployment has dropped by 4% in 1 quarter. Let me tell you, I have called friends of mine in the IMF, in the World Bank, in the Commonwealth, and I've asked them, give me one example you all know of anywhere in the world where unemployment dropped by 4% in 1 quarter. And they tell me that has never happened anywhere that they've ever heard of. Imagine that. Now, we will deal with those figures in greater detail at another time, because I have more to say about some of those pronouncements that Alan Chasney has made. So let me ask you the question. With all those jobs they say they created in St. Lucia, are you feeling better about St. Lucia? Are your neighbors feeling better about St. Lucia? Is your family feeling better about St. Lucia? So tell me, what's going on? I want you to listen to me again. I want you to listen to me. Something is really wrong in this country. Really wrong. Because since UWP came into power, there have been a pattern in this country of how they are making decisions that really make you wonder why are they making those decisions. So I want you to take me together. Let's go through a few of the decisions. And let's try to understand, why is it will a government make those decisions? Let's start with DSH. Why is it a new government comes into power? The previous government has been negotiating for over 1 year on a project. And within 4 weeks, the Prime Minister signs that agreement. He doesn't ask to see no emails from the previous government. He doesn't ask anybody why y'all did not sign it. He signs it immediately. The DSH project. Can somebody tell me why? Why would the Prime Minister sign an agreement like this without any consultation? This project, the DSH, was supposed to be the biggest project in the history of St. Lucia. If you're going to sign a project so big, won't you want to get some advice on it? Won't you want to at least get people to review it? Won't you want to know why it was not signed before? Then let's go on to another project, the Dolphin Park. We all know the Dolphin Park, that the Prime Minister said his father always wanted a Dolphin Park. Why would you decide to take our most significant historical site, Pigeon Point, to build a Dolphin Park? Why, oh why? You will fight with the National Trust. You will take away the subvention. You will go to the DCA and ask them to change the land designation from historical to touristic, just to make sure you can allow people to build a dolphin park there. Why? Why would a Prime Minister and a government do that? Why? Somebody tell me. Then Ojo Labs. Why would you take a foreign investor? Now you all know a foreign investor is supposed to bring money into the country. A foreign investor brings resources into the country. You will spend $4 million to repair a shed for him. You will pay his monthly bill for water, electricity, for internet, and you will pay the salary of all the workers. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And somebody told me they only employed 25 people there so far, after you spent $4 million to refurbish the warehouse. Why would the Prime Minister do such? Then we had Sandals. Sandals given a waiver of $24 million. Now, the law says you can't give a waiver, but it must be just and necessary. There was nothing just and nothing necessary about Sandals' request. Sandals did not even go through the process. They went straight to their friends and got a waiver for $24 million. Why, oh why, would a Prime Minister and a government do this? Can somebody tell me? Why, oh why? Then we have the CIP and the range development. And I want you to listen to this. Whenever the Prime Minister boasts of how CIP is doing well and how many applications every year, every month, not 1 cent from CIP money, your passport money, is going to you. Not 1 cent. Every cent that is brought in, he gives it back to a developer as a loan. Not 1 cent is yours. In Dominica, in Antigua, in St. Kitts, in Grenada, the CIP money is being used to repair roads, to repair hospitals, to repair schools. That's what the passport money is being used for in those other countries. In St. Lucia, the Prime Minister decides he's changing the program. And all your CIP money goes back to foreign investors. Why, oh why? The project in Black Bay Library, $450 million. All of it will be your passport money. Your passport money that he's taking and giving back. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Then you have the airport tax. And we were in the House recently. We were in the House when the Speaker had an unfortunate situation and we had to stop the House. But listen to what happened with this airport tax. And I want you, when you meet the flubbers, to ask them to explain it to you. Why is the government doing this? When Stephen King was Prime Minister, they announced that they wanted to upgrade Uranura International Airport. They were going to borrow 150 million US, which is about 400 million EC dollars. That's what they were going to borrow. They started all this process to find a company. And I'm sure you've seen the documents and the Guy Joseph involvement. We'll come to that another time. The contract was not signed by Stephen King. It was not signed. And Richard Frederick has said publicly he did not support it. And Richard Frederick has said when he did not support it, what a colleague minister of his offered him. And when he called the Prime Minister, he said, Prime Minister, Guy Joseph offered me X amount of money. The Prime Minister said to him, he offered me 5 million. Stephen King did not sign the agreement. He did not sign it. Richard Frederick said it publicly. And every time Guy speaks in the House, we're telling him, go and sue Richard Frederick. Every time. Every time. Kenny Anthony and the Labour Party came in and said, we're not following that approach. We're not following that approach. They went to the World Bank, one of the most respected institutions in the world. And the World Bank said, the IFC will handle it. The IFC studied what's the best way for St. Lucia to build a new airport. We vowed the people of St. Lucia having to borrow $400 million. And the IFC came up with a proposal that you will find one of the best airport managers in the world. Give them the airport for 45 years. They will spend all the money to upgrade it. Every year they will give you an annual payment for having the airport. And they will maintain it for the 45 years, at the end of which they give it back to you. St. Lucia would not spend 1 cent. Not 1 cent. Elections came. UWP back in power. Guy Joseph back in power. Alan Shasley back in power. And then they decide to abandon that plan where St. Lucia would not have to borrow a cent and go back to their own approach where they had all the corruption and bribery and bubble going on. They've gone back to it. And I'll tell you something. And listen to me carefully, when the United Workers' Party just came in last year and they said they were not following the model of the St. Lucia Labour Party, they were told the last time you all tried that airport project, everybody was aware that there was corruption and allegations of bribery. You cannot kick out the World Bank and the IFC. Even if you're going to borrow the money, let them manage it for you so nobody can say there is any bribery and corruption. Listen to me, huh? They said they're not following Kenny Anthony model. They will still borrow the money. They were advised, let the World Bank and IFC remain involved so nobody can say there is bubble involved. There were discussions with the IFC. The IFC agreed that the government can go and borrow the money if they want, but they will manage the process and make sure there's no bubble, no corruption, and there's transparency. You know what the government of St. Lucia and the Alan Shasley tell the IFC? Not even that we want you all to do for us. Not even that we want you all to do for us. So if the IFC is saying to you, we're going to manage the process, so there's no accusation of bubble and corruption, and you tell them you don't want them to do it, what is that saying? What is that saying? So explain to me, why would the government make that decision? And then in the last couple of weeks, we heard so much about the lands and the lands and the lands that the government of St. Lucia is buying. Buying lands at Shock. Buying lands in Rodney Bay. Now somebody tell me, why is the government of St. Lucia buying land like this? And for who? And how much is it costing the people of St. Lucia? A talk show host showed documents, and I've gotten copies of it myself, to show the amount of debt they have against one of the lands. Can the Prime Minister explain to us why are we buying so much land, for who, and how much is it costing us, the people of St. Lucia? So my brothers, there's a pattern. I give you 7 major projects that this government has been involved in. Every single one of them questionable. Every single one of them make you ask the question, why is our government behaving in such a manner? So when you're going to march on Sunday, yes, you're marching for St. Jude's. Yes, you're marching for the people of the South to get the hospital. Because the people of the South are suffering by the hospital not being completed. But remember also, you're marching for the soul of this country. You're marching for the dignity of this country. Every single person who come out to march, you're marching against those bogus unemployment figures. You're marching against DSH. You're marching against Dolphin Park. You're marching against all those projects, Ojo Labs, Range Project, CIP, all those projects that this government is negotiating. You have to march against it, because we are losing our soul as a country. And I believe, brothers and sisters, we have to stand up and make a powerful statement that we're not going to allow our country to go any further down that drain. We have to come out in numbers. We have to come out and make a statement that the government has totally lost its way. Because if a prime minister, if a government can make those decisions, there are 2 things you have to ask yourself. Is it because they don't care about St. Lucia or St. Lucians? Or is it that they are benefiting personally and their friends from the decisions that they are making? You have to ask those 2 questions. You have to, because you cannot have 7 consecutive projects where every single one raises questions about your conduct and the sense of what you're doing. Why? Is it you don't care about St. Lucia? You don't understand us as St. Lucians? Or is it that people are benefiting and there's a vested interest in there? So when we march on Sunday, we're marching for St. Jude. But I want you to also remember at the back of your minds, you're marching for St. Lucia, to save St. Lucia. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Good night.
Long time we waiting.
We hospital.
You feed them, you dragging. We tired of the talking.
Let's hear it for Dr. Ernest Hilaire, member for Castries South, my sisters and brothers. Question après question. Remember our membership drive, the women's organization, the St. Lucia Labour Party Women's Organization also invites you to join the SLPWO at the same table. We invite you to join the St. Lucia Labour Party. My brothers and sisters, Dr. Kenny Anthony is here with us, member for Beaufort South. And Dr. Kenny Anthony, as the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and parliamentary representative for Beaufort South, worked tirelessly to complete the St. Jude Hospital. Ou kwe Kenny te kay jouer avec future politics li to deliberately not complete the hospital, my brothers and sisters? You know Dr. Kenny Anthony. Do you believe Dr. Kenny Anthony or you believe Guy Joseph? Who do you believe? And we are happy he's here with us tonight, although you know that he has tragedy in his family. And he's here with us tonight, and we are happy to see him tonight. Fouexe, Mary Isaac, ka just confuse UWP, ka just trouble St. Lucien. In 2016, they accepted the Mexican gift of the morgue, Latenigo ceremony. In June of 2017, écoutez-moi bien, the Prime Minister told the nurses and the doctors at St. Jude Hospital at the stadium that they have checked everything. They have looked at the financing and they will complete the hospital by December of 2017, even before that. In August of 2017, the government handed over the morgue and the other parts of the Mexican project to Dr. Ulrich Mondesi and the St. Jude board. And by September of that same 3 months, September just passed. So in June, the Prime Minister said, everything is okay, we are going ahead. In August, they handed over to the St. Jude board. And by September 15th or 14th or thereabout, the Minister for Health comes and says they are thinking of demolishing the hospital. What kind of government of confusion? We believe they are deliberately confusing St. Lucians to do what they want to do with St. Jude Hospital. Give it to their friends in the private sector from overseas. Moi vle dou avant moi kriye l'autre speaker pour excès. Ministre Guy Joseph avec Premier ministre l'a dit qui a moun obligé prendre l'argent à Baye St. Jude Sala. They said somebody has to pay. The Prime Minister said there will be another study, another investigation. I challenge the Prime Minister tonight. If you are so interested in justice, allow the civil cases on Ezekiel Joseph and you, the Prime Minister, on the Taiwanese funds to go ahead. Put measures in place. Why are we not hearing anything about that? Ou tellement intéressé en justice. Ou c'est Premier Ministre. L'année en rapport à l'audience qu'a dit ou servi l'argent Taïwan pour faire bagaille sous fouillé. Là où t'es qu'à campagne. L'année en rapport qu'a dit Ezekiel Joseph servi l'argent Taïwan. Exordi deux cabinets et personne bagatin about ça. No one is saying anything. Can you imagine if it was Dr. Kenny Anthony or Philip J. Pierre or Alva Baptiste? The whole country would be closed down by now. All the Chamber of Commerce would have closed down the country because they say we're in corruption. Can you imagine if it was the Labour Party? But Flambeau, they have dominion over life and death. According to Brother Alva, that's what Brother Alva would say, something like that. Why aren't we hearing anything about a civil case? Why aren't we hearing anything about the 500,000 that Nancy Charles in the Vieux Town Council caused to be passed through the council? They are so interested about justice in this country. Why aren't we hearing anything about that? And Dr. Kenny Anthony did what he had to do. And we don't have to wait for when he passes on to say, oh, the Nomsa c'était un bon homme, il fait ça, il fait everything pour faire. You criticized him and said he's doing nothing about corruption. There were investigations. And the report is with the Director of Public Prosecution on the Taiwanese funds. Why aren't we hearing anything about that? Nous pas attendre rien about ça. So si Chasne intéressé à justice in the St. Jude matter, he must set an example. The Prime Minister must set an example and allow the civil cases to go through the courts. Cause them, do what he has to do. Cause his Attorney General to cause those matters to be dealt with by the courts of St. Lucia. And let us then talk about justice. My sisters and my brothers, I want to bring to the podium. Moi vle mener un homme qui jeune et qui vaillant. Nom ça là travaille wed un ministre sport. Parce que travaille nom ça là. Nous a parlé en chai about jeune mamay qui fait bien l'autre pays. Expider qui a try faire accréditer yo. I want to bring to you the second deputy leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party. A young man who worked hard as a minister for sports. A man who not only took care of the playing fields in St. Lucia, but established programs for the young people of St. Lucia. Let's bring on the member for Dennery North, my brothers and sisters, the Honorable Sean Edwards.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party and Member of Parliament for the constituency of Castries East, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. First Deputy Political Leader and Member of Parliament for the constituency of Labrie, the Honorable Alva Baptiste. Party Chairman and Member of Parliament for Vieux-Fort North, the Honorable Moses Moussa Jean-Baptiste. Former Prime Minister, former political leader, Member of Parliament for Vieux-Fort South, the Honorable Dr. Kenny D. Anthony. Colleague parliamentarians, executive members of our great party, brothers and sisters, media practitioners, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is so nice to see so many of you on the market steps tonight. Tonight, we have people from all 17 constituencies on the market steps. You've made a sacrifice to be here tonight to support the St. Lucia Labour Party, but more importantly, to take a stand for your country. You've made the journey from Choiseul, Labrie, Soufrière, Anse-Lauré Canneries, Dennery, Micoud, Babono, Gros-Islet, Castries, all the communities to be with us tonight. And it is a journey to say that enough is enough with the United Workers' Party administration. Your presence here tonight is an indication that you've understood that St. Lucia is now being operated or being run by the worst government in the history of our country. And so tonight, we have assembled for a very important meeting. We don't call you to the market steps because we want to make noise. We don't call you to the market steps because we want you to engage on a joyride. The market step meeting is always the mother of all political meetings in this country. And so when we call you to the market steps, it is because we have a lot of important messages, a lot of information to pass on to you so that you can decide for yourself how much longer must we tolerate Alan Chasney and this UWP government. They have wasted almost 2 years in government. And this is a government with misplaced priorities. The government has its priorities upside down. Ça c'est un gouvernement qui pas qu'à travailler en l'enterrer pays cette lici. Ça c'est un gouvernement qui pas qu'à travailler en l'enterrer peuple cette lici. They have wasted millions of dollars. They have embarked on misguided projects. And they have traveled more than any other cabinet in the OECS and in CARICOM. Every week they are on a plane. And I remember speaking to a friend of mine in Trinidad. And the discussion in Trinidad was that the Prime Minister of that country was traveling quite a bit. But the friend also said to me that although the Trinidad Prime Minister was traveling, he always had something to show for his travels when he returned to the country. And today, we have the modern Marco Polo. Marco Polo was an Italian, and he was very famous for traveling all over the world. And sometimes people used to ask, what was he traveling for? And he was not able to answer and tell people why he was embarking on some of the voyages that he embarked on. And today, when you look at the disposition of our Prime Minister, the number of trips that he makes per month, you have to be convinced that Alan Chasney is the modern Marco Polo. Always traveling, always on a plane. He does not have time to attend to the domestic affairs of the country. And so, what you get with a cluster and clusters of incompetent ministers is mayhem and chaos. And Brother Healer said it a while ago. When you come out on Sunday, the match on Sunday is a match that is much more than just taking a position for St. Jude Hospital. But very importantly, the dignity of our country is on the line. And I've said before that any time we traveled in the cabinet of Dr. Anthony, you had to come to cabinet. You had to convince the Prime Minister and his cabinet that the trip you were about to embark on would bring benefits to either constituency, but more importantly, to country. And I saw ministers trying to convince Prime Minister and cabinet that the trips that they were going on was indeed, or those trips would have brought benefits to our country. And sometimes, some of us did not like it, but we were being asked to stay home and look after the affairs of our country because that would have been more beneficial. That is not the case with the United Workers' Party. They travel so much that cabinet meetings have had to be postponed for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. They're too busy looking after their own interests and therefore cannot attend to the business of our country. My brothers and sisters, $500,000, $500,000 was spent on the swearing-in ceremony for the cabinet. If that is not wastage, tell me what is wastage in this country. They've appointed the largest cabinet in the history of our country. And I've made the point before too, that when you look at the ministers who serve in cabinet, not only are they incompetent and have not understood what is required of them as ministers, there is an arrogance that comes with it. And you heard former Minister Reynolds talk about the minister responsible for health. Brother Healer mentioned the National Security Minister. And it doesn't matter which one you mention, they are all the same. You've heard accusations about Guy Joseph. And Guy Joseph is the one politician on the other side who is always happy, who's always willing, and who's always ready to attack members of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And he does not need evidence. He says whatever he wants, wherever he wants, and he believes that he can get away with it. But I was extremely happy. I was extremely happy when I sat on the other side of the parliament and we made our presentations and Brother Healy attempted to go into this report. Guy looked like a broken individual. He was the one who chose prime time to attack my character and my reputation with respect to the St. Lucia National Lotteries Authority. But today, I am standing here as a proud representative of the people of Dennery North. I am proud of the work that I did in the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports. And I am proud with the work that we did with the monies belonging to the National Lotteries Authority. But today, we have to ask the question, what is the National Lotteries Authority money being used for? And in an environment where the revenue streams of the government are not performing well, I have every reason to believe, until such time that somebody in government can convince me otherwise, that the monies of the National Lotteries Authority is probably being used to finance Ojo Labs, is probably being used to finance the travels of ministers, because from very early in every financial year, they appear to be busting the budget, and the money is allocated for travels can never be enough. This is the same government, my brothers and sisters, that had to fulfill a campaign promise, and they went ahead and they reduced VAT. Now it is one thing to make pronouncements on the campaign trail. Ou sa di n'importe sa ou vle, puis ou vle gen eleksyon la ou ka campaign. C'est qu'on a un politician Carol qu'on nous a dit. Di sa yo vle, kwene moun et puis gen eleksyon. So yo di, yo de kay tiye an le VAT la. Mais le yo an tue an gouvernement. Ek yo we sa nou de ka di about conditions économiques cette ici te voué. Oji Prime Minister prend une décision. En la te we pays ya, ek di moun, mwen te dou, mwen kay mene vat la desan, men situasyon ki nou van peyi set lisi right now, se yon kon mwen pas si pose touche vat la. He went ahead and he fulfilled a promise that he made to the supporters of his party at the expense of an entire country. And in the process, we ended up losing $60 million. And today, he does not know where he's going to get the $60 million from, and he's looking for all kinds of excuses to justify his travels and to bring upon our people some of the worst policies and decisions ever taken by a government. But this is what characterizes the government. And that is why today we can say very confidently that this is the worst government in the history of our country. He said that he was going to run the country like a business. Business is about profit and loss. And once you enter business, your main objective in business is to make a profit. You take nothing else into consideration but the profit that you're supposed to make at the end of the business process. A country cannot and should never be likened to a business. And that is why there's no social conscience. That is why there's no respect for state institutions. That is why the Prime Minister cannot understand the value of Radio St. Lucia to the people of St. Lucia. That is why the Prime Minister will never understand the significance of the Fish Marketing Corporation and all the other state entities that they are looking to dismantle. And so, my brothers and sisters, these are some of the reasons why you must turn up on Sunday to march. You marching for St. Jude, but as Brother Healy said, you are also marching for the dignity of our country. We are St. Lucians. We are a proud people, and we cannot sit idly by and allow Alan Chasney and his cabinet to bring shame upon our country. I drive throughout the country. I drive in the north of the country. I visit the southern constituencies. I find myself on the east coast and the west coast of St. Lucia. And it is a crying shame to see the number of abundant playing fields that we have in St. Lucia today. And when the United Workers' Party came into office, they were handed facilities in the best conditions you can imagine in this country. When they came in, playing fields were lit, surfaces were well maintained, and in just 1 year and 3 months or 5 months, the playing fields were in such a dilapidated state, that farmers felt comfortable and confident to take their small ruminants to those playing fields to graze. We installed lights on the Canris playing field. 2 years ago, the lights were planted. When they came in, all they had to do was to complete the surface work on the Canris playing field and to go ahead and connect the lights. Almost 2 years in government, they have not been able to do a single thing in Canris. And so we have to ask the question, is it that they don't know what to do? Or is it a case of what Brother Healy just alluded to? Is it that they want to revisit the project in such a way that they are going to benefit from the rest of the work that have to go into the Canris playing field? We did the same in Dennery. And in the case of Dennery, the Prime Minister presided over a cabinet meeting where we agreed, and this particular decision also got the blessings of the current parliamentary rep for Dennery South, the Honorable Edmund Estefan, that we were going to rename the facility. We were going to rename the facility so that it can be called the Remy Lesmore Recreational Facility. We started work on the surface. We had plans to fence and to put a community pavilion. The lights had already been installed. And all they have to do is to get a connection certificate from Lucilec to connect the lights. But reports reaching me is that Edmund Estefan has decided that the lights we planted in Dennery are inferior, and he does not want those lights in Dennery. And so he has decided that he's going to remove the lights from Dennery and dump them in Font-Assor. And I've been told that Ezekiel is waiting for him to come with his lights. So the lights are there. He refuses to connect the lights to allow the young people of Dennery to use the lights. And so he is scratching his head and God knows where else in terms of what to do with the lights. My brothers and sisters, this is a government that is not working in the best interest of St. Lucia. This is a government that has no plans for young people. And almost 2 years in office, 3 ministers providing oversight for youth development and sports. We are yet to hear of any policy initiative that will benefit young people under the Alan Chasney administration. I have always been reluctant to mention the names of athletes on a political platform. I do not like to draw athletes into the political discussion. But tonight I have a responsibility to my country and to the hundreds of young persons who are aspiring to represent St. Lucia in sports and other aspects of national development. We have a young man by the name of Kimani Melius. Kimani Melius amassed the highest aggregate in the West Indies Under-19 Cricket Championship held in St. Kitts earlier this year. Licky scored 3 runs at St. Kitts. The West Indies Cricket Board shortlisted some names of cricketers who would go into camp and based on performance in camp, they would make a final selection of youngsters to represent the West Indies in the Youth World Cup in New Zealand in the ensuing year, early January. Kimani Melius went to camp. He dominated the camp and was selected onto the West Indies team. Do you know that on the eve of departure, he left on a Friday. Up to 10 o'clock the Thursday night, he had heard nothing from the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports. He had heard nothing from any one of the 3 ministers in the cluster. And it was a crying shame. It was a crying shame to see Yadi and Jaim putting a bank account number on a television screen asking St. Lucians to contribute monies so that they can get gear and other supplies for Kimani Melius. And this was happening at a time when Ojo Labs can get close to $5 million of our money just so that the Prime Minister can come and boast and say that he's working in the interest of this country. Julian Alfred, we took National Lotteries Authority money and we were supporting Julian Alfred when she got a scholarship where she left the Leoness Comprehensive School to take up studies in Jamaica. We were giving her a stipend through the National Lotteries Authority. When they came in, they stopped it. They stopped the stipend. And just imagine you having a young girl in a foreign country. She has needs. She needs to be comfortable. And although she's on scholarship where she's trying to develop herself, her presence in Jamaica, in my opinion, is an investment for St. Lucia, because I am certain that she will go all the way and bring us pride and glory on the international level. And after her first year in Jamaica, she was able to win St. Lucia's first ever gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. And the same people, when they came into office and they stopped the stipend, were the ones parading on airport with flag, fancy speeches, hypocrites as they are. Hypocrites as they are. And you know what I say to them? This is a product of the minister's account. And today, my brothers and sisters, these are the things that we must come out and take a position on. These are the things that should encourage us to march. These are the things that should encourage us to tell our neighbors that something must be done to get the UWP out of office. They demonstrated. They went ahead marching because they said the Kenny Anthony administration caused St. Lucians to pay more than they were supposed to for gas. And it was orange march after orange march. Today they've come into government. They have increased the price of gas. And they are saying to us that the increase in the price of gas is supposed to help them get monies placed into a special account for road construction. Ever since the announcement was made, the account was created, but there isn't a single dollar in that account. You know why? Because the revenue streams of the government are not doing well. Gouvernement pas avec alte l'argent yo de ka fait. Ek so l'argent yo ka mette en gaz pour faire chimé, yo pas ni l'argent ça. Ek nou ka attend that l'argent ça, yo ka servi pour ça en anglais nou ka crier recurrent expenditure. Payer salaire, payer l'argent pour ticket, pour ministers travel et puis bagay comme ça. So my brothers and sisters, we have a lot to demonstrate against. And don't let anybody tell you that we were there and we did not complete the hospital. The business of the completion of any hospital is the responsibility of the government of the day. And when we did not complete it, St. Lucians voted against us. So now the responsibility to conclude or to finish the hospital is that of the United Workers' Party government. So don't come and tell me that sortez là pour 5 l'année, et que pas fini, mais on vle flambeau fini. C'est responsabilité pour finir. Because là yo vini, yo joine l'argent là pour finir. Là yo vini, yo hen toute bagaille en place. Yo joine report, yo joine toute information yo te vle. But for some reason, some smart fella, some smart guy saw the need to commission a report or an investigation. $800,000 to commission a report, and you cannot make the contents of the report available to the public of St. Lucia. Whom do you think you're fooling? Qui moun yo ka try mama guy, ek se betis sa yo ka pale. So my brothers and sisters, the task is a very serious one. Pa main tout mistake la we flambeau ka fe. Pa main tout betis la we yo ka fe en office. It is not going to be a very easy assignment to get them out. And never rely on the mistakes and sit comfortably at home and tell yourself, c'est pour ça j'appelle because you have a bêtise. That is not the case. You must come out when we call you out. You must demonstrate when we ask you to demonstrate. You must take a position for your country. You must tell your neighbors that when the Labour Party's rallying call is made, that they have to respond. And that is how we are going to move them from government. But to believe that the mistakes alone are going to be enough to see the backs of the UWP, you are making the mistake of your life. The grounds are good. Things are looking very favorable for us. But we have to continue pressing ahead. We cannot relax. We have to be on the case. We have to take them on in the parliament. We have to come to the market steps and put them under pressure. We have to attend the town hall meetings. We have to call the talk shows. We have to do all that is necessary. And I've always said to my colleagues in parliament and my colleagues in the party that this is not a sprint. You have to endure. It is going to be a marathon. It will take days. It will take months. It might take a year or two. But we have to stay the course. Adan zoka las trop vite. Zoka tape, kozo décomporté trop vite. You have to stick to the mission. You have to encourage your brothers and sisters. We have to stay together. You have to support your parliamentary rep. You have to say favorable things about your caretaker candidates. That is the only way we will be able to defeat the UWP. So for those of you, my brothers and sisters, who have come from far to be here on the market steps, I know it is a sacrifice, but it is a sacrifice that is worth it. And it is that kind of commitment from you that gives us the energy to continue to work for our party and work in the best interest of our country. We will never sit idly by. Nous ne jamais assis et côté là et quitter yo faire cette lycée passe droit et dit nous pas un gouvernement, nous en opposition so quitter yo ça yo vle. We are going to continue to be a responsible opposition. We are going to apply the pressure where pressure is needed. We are going to agitate. We are going to argue. And we are going to say to the United Workers' Party that you are not working in the best interest of our country. And if you cannot work in the interest of our country, you need to make way and allow people who are more competent than you are an opportunity to run the affairs of this country. That is what we are about. And our record speaks for itself. Our record will always speak for us. Philippe J. Pierre constructed over 20-something bridges. There was no money. We lit playing fields. We were taking care of the sick. Healthcare was 10 times better under the St. Lucia Labour Party than what we have today. In agriculture, Moses Jean-Baptiste saved the banana industry. And today, not a single box of banana is being cultivated or harvested in St. Vincent or in Dominica or in Grenada. Seul place en OICS là ou en Windwards là qui ka vendre fig, c'est cette ici. You know why? Because nous avons pêché Black Sicotoka, détruit l'industrie fig là, même quand il fait entre les autres pays, le vivant. Et si vous parlez about record nous qu'on parti au soir, moi pas qu'à fini. Si vous parlez about qui ça nous fait en social transformation, avec l'automne Dominique Fédé, Kavini, et puis le Prime Minister pour dire that you can expect increased arrivals, avec touristes Kavini, et you can faire travail en harbor, sans honte qu'on y est. Ça c'est travail, St. Lucia Labour Party. Visitor arrivals being reaped today. That is the work of Lon Theophilus and Louis Lewis. Not Dominique Fédé and Alan Chasney. Not Dominique Fédé and Alan Chasney. They are reaping the benefits. They are reaping the benefits of the work of the St. Lucia Labour Party under Dr. Kenny Anthony. We have a water project in Denry North funded by the Mexican government. And I'm hearing through the grapevine that phase 2 of that project, Prime Minister voulait doubler pour prendre l'argent pour mettre en l'autre bagaille. Moi, just hope c'est pas Ojo Labs qui a pris l'argent ça à bail. Et si c'est Ojo Labs, nous allons faire un statement en Valia. And these are some of the things we do. You have to come out and march for. So my brothers and sisters, I encourage you to stay with the St. Lucia Labour Party. Opposition can be tough at times. Opposition can be lonely at times. But if you have the fighting spirit, and you can muster the inner strength, we are going to stand up to the United Workers' Party. And at the right time, St. Lucians will return the St. Lucia Labour Party to government to govern the affairs of our country. Long live the St. Lucia Labour Party. Long live our political leader, the Honorable Philippe J. Pierre. Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters. And let us enjoy the rest of our meeting.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it for Brother Sean Edward. Our time is short. Our time is drawing nigh. But sisters and brothers, very quickly before I bring on the next speaker, there is a lady in my constituency called Sandra. And last week, her house was destroyed by fire. Do you know if the St. Lucia Labour Party was in office, there would be a distress fund, and the Prime Minister would not call Sandra a mendicant, and she would get assistance from the St. Lucia Labour Party to help her with a house that just got burnt last week. There's another lady whose house got burnt right here in the audience. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia treats our people like mendicants, as he says. He doesn't fix the schools. The children of Dr. Bird, he doesn't care about them. The Blind Welfare Association, the National Trust, all things that are there to protect the poor and things that are there to protect the Prime Minister and the UWP dismiss them. But he would not care about schools. Do you think his children have to sit in any primary school in St. Lucia to worry about the roof and the walls falling around? No! And you don't have to be afraid to say that. His children are not there in the schools in St. Lucia. So he doesn't have to worry about fixing any schools for you. So my sisters and brothers, I now bring on the man, the first deputy leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, as the time is moving quickly on us. The former External Affairs Minister, who mobilized more funds for St. Lucia after the disaster than the UWP did after Hurricane Thomas. A man who is grounded with the young people and the people of St. Lucia. A man who has spent a long time in the politics of St. Lucia. I bring to you the Honorable Alva Baptist, Parliamentary Representative for Labrie.
My music. I need the music to warm me up.
Hey, but wait. What he talking? Demolition? What? Your hospital millions spent. I wonder who you represent. Now you come with a sad story. The money was spent badly.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Bonsoir, frère Excès. Est-ce ou pas oui? Are you ready? My brothers and my sisters, I want to apologize for my attire this evening. Après-midi, I'm politically incorrect, and I had to attend the funeral service of a cousin of mine. And when I left the service, I was about to go and purchase a red shirt. Eka madame di mwen pa fe sa ti kok la. Ale ep kwa vatu ep sutu, paske de le lo we ve market steps, there will be a swearing-in ceremony of the new government. Mwen te kote chopaol sa telman, ma wete tout kwa vate ek mwen sout mwen ale mwen. Isem bagay la poko mem dousi ijadu. My brothers and my sisters, I want to align myself with the speakers who spoke before me. Our country is in serious trouble. And tonight, I want to give careful and sensible treatment to the fact that the United Workers' Party is creating an environment for our international partners to lose trust in St. Lucia. And I'll tell you this, my brothers and my sisters. We are no longer in the time of the Cold War. L'argent te ka vini seklisi. Pour nous faire toute kalte bagay. Pour nous mene courant by moun. Pour nous mette globe by moun. The world has changed. Governments overseas do not give like they used to give before. And now we have to work harder to convince the international community that they need to send money to us. And when we do, le nou ale, I negotiate, et puis gouvernement l'autre pays pour l'argent. Yo ka aide nou, fait soufre square. Yo ka aide nou et St. Jude's. Yo ka aide nou ek abattoir. They help us with the wellness center. They help us with the national stadium. And they help us with many, many other things. And in comes the Alan Chasney-led government. And they jackhammer hundreds of thousands of dollars in soufre because now they have power and they do not care about the taxpayers' money that come from Taiwan to assist our development. My brothers and my sisters, nous avons un temps qui wed, un temps qui difficile. And when foreign governments pump money into our country, we need to show some level of appreciation. Because the people in Taiwan are pressuring politicians about the amount of money that leaves Taiwan and goes to other jurisdictions. And so how do you justify to the people of Taiwan, how you justify to the parliament sending millions of dollars to St. Lucia to help the development, and Alan Chasney and his cabinet are just destroying every single thing? Look at the abattoir. Look at the abattoir. Millions of dollars went into constructing the abattoir. Various governments assisted us even to increase livestock production to prepare for the abattoir. And all of a sudden, Chasney gets King and he signs a deal. And right now, he wants to create a petty bourgeois enclave at Bossejou, lands that were earmarked for agriculture and the further development of agriculture. And so he wants to make agriculture in my constituency obsolete. My brothers and my sisters, that DSH deal is inimical to the well-being of the people of this country. And when we return to office, we are getting out of that DSH deal. You know why? And don't ever be afraid of getting out of arrangements that are inimical to the well-being of the people of this country. When you come in as a prime minister, when you come in as a government, you must be sensible and sensitive to the national mood. The international community is aware that the people of this country do not want the DSH deal in its current form because it will impact negatively on agriculture, it will impact negatively on the people of Ufort, it will impact negatively on the people of the South, it will impact negatively on the country. And so we must have no fear getting out of arrangements that are not working for us. Mexico pumped millions of dollars into St. Jude's. And other friendly governments, school children pump money into St. Jude's. The business community pumped money into St. Jude's. St. Lucians, both at home and abroad, made sacrifices to assist the reconstruction of St. Jude's. We just borrowed $20 million to pump into St. Jude's to continue the development of St. Jude's. And all of a sudden, Alan Chasney decides, together with his cabinet, to stop, first of all, stop the reconstruction of St. Jude's and talk about demolition and alternative use. I am saying to you tonight, my brothers and my sisters, that there shall be no demolition of St. Jude's Hospital. There shall be no alternative use of St. Jude's Hospital. And the only thing that the UWP must do now is to commence work with lightning rapidity at St. Jude's and complete the hospital in the shortest possible space of time. This is the directive from the people of this country and from the main opposition party. I will tell you this, my brothers and my sisters. We have no master called Alan Chasney. We have no master called Alan Chasney. We the people must demonstrate very clearly that we are not afraid. That we are not afraid. Gade kome nukila. Gade kome moun kitupatu. Epukai kite Chasney vini epkwaze St. Jude's. St. Jude's plays a vital role in the lives of the people of the South. St. Jude's provides employment. It contributes to the social and economic vitality of the South. A number of minibus drivers took loans to service that route. That's how they pay their mortgage. That's how they pay for the children to go to school. And just so you want to come and demolish St. Jude's. Do you know the amount of people who are uninsured and cannot pay their medical bills? Except St. Jude's, they receive free medical care at St. Jude's. And there is no doubt in my mind, my brothers and my sisters, that the people of this country collectively will halt the forward movement of Alan Chasney and his ministers as far as the demolition of St. Jude's is concerned. So on Sunday, I know we shall have a massive presence in Viewport. I know that the presence will be even greater than what we saw in May this year, because I told them in the parliament that we were just rehearsing. Just imagine St. Jude's Hospital entered into an agreement with Spartan so that there will be medical research and they will be meeting the patients at some strategic point in the healthcare system. Preventive medicine. And all of that must be destroyed because Alan Chasney is the new master of this country and he must do whatever suits him and his friends. Well, no way. As long as Alva Baptist is around, as long as Philip J. Pierre is around, as long as Ernest Hilaire is around, as long as Alvina Reynolds is around, as long as Brother Musa is around, as long as Brother Sean is around, we shall lead the march against foolishness in this country. And I know behind us will be marching in absolute unity a flock of patriotic St. Lucians. Now I'll tell you something, my brothers and sisters. All of that is symptomatic of an uncaring and insensitive government. Every single thing they have done to date demonstrates very clearly they want to destroy St. Lucia. Anything with St. Lucia in it, they will demolish. Radio St. Lucia, St. Lucia Marketing Board, just put St. Lucia in anything and you become a target in this country. The next target is the Salvation Army. But they are trying to build up how they're going to fight with that army. Not even being aware that Salvation Army pani fizi ek pani bagay konsa. So my brothers and my sisters, the international community is not viewing the developments in St. Lucia with any degree of admiration. The international community is quite aware that we have a rogue government. A rogue government. A government with no respect for the laws of the country. A government with no respect for the Constitution. And then they want the opposition to be accomplices in their foolishness. When you have a UWP government disrespecting the laws of this country and have absolutely no regard for the Constitution, you do not appoint a deputy speaker, and then you come to the parliament and the opposition accepts it. The opposition is going to give legal sanctions to all the atrocities committed by this UWP administration. And if they view Flabo as a rogue government, if we a pam koko ek Flabo, then nukai mem koyo. We are saying to them, do the honorable thing and appoint a deputy speaker. Now you see, Alan Chasney attacked the U.S. about number of prisoners coming here. And immediately after, under pressure, when the U.S. announced an executive order to try to take some action against Venezuela, he quickly jumped up and said that he was going to impose visa facilities. He was going to introduce visa facilities on Venezuelans coming into St. Lucia. We do not have a problem with Venezuelans coming through our ports in this country. We do not have a problem with them. But you see, it's his way of mewling at the feet of America. It is a way of going on his knees and asking for forgiveness. When we inherited the Westminster system from the UK, Ekupavle appoint deputy speaker Ulakafe Papisho. Then he has to agree to take prisoners. Not agree, but initiate the discussion about taking prisoners. He took them in. He said free. Now, Chasney has a different type of mathematics. Chasney reminds me of a guy called Moria from Labrie.
Moria would say, Mwenchuwi sis koko. Ugamade Moria, comment boy kadu say this. Comment ou bay manche pa 5. Comment ou bay kif 7. Comment wete 20. It's a very funny type of mathematics. Ek denom selman a whole latte bon dia ki konet kalte mathematics sa, se chasne ek defe Moria. So when he said free prisoners, then you hear about 23 and growing. But this was another opportunity to mule at the feet of the United Kingdom. So apology, apology, apology. But he apologizes now and initiates a strike that is inimical to the relations that we have with our traditional friends. So my brothers and my sisters, we must be extremely careful in that period. Good governance is extremely important if we have to attract foreign assistance. My brothers and my sisters, we cannot be a state where there is no voice and accountability. Under Dr. Kenny Anthony between 1997 and 2006, we saw the most talk shows flourishing in this country. Some people utilizing even that newfound freedom to attack the Labour Party at the time. There was freedom of entry into opinion markets. But today, people are tortured for honest opinion. Moun basa pale en pays sala. Sue from National Trust, and you come and talk about, oh, we must oppose Causeway to Maria Islet. Then we reduce the subvention. And we attack Tulsi. And we do this and we do that. And that is the attitude of this government, my brothers and my sisters. Political stability. As a result of all the foolishness of this government, St. Lucia is fast becoming a place where they cannot govern anymore. There is lawlessness that we have never seen before in this country. And you see the situation with crime. And I agree, the Labour Party always said, do not politicize crime. But the tone set by a government can influence the direction of criminal activity in the country. If you have a lawless government, then they have set the stage for lawlessness. And it is not surprising that we have found ourselves into that unprecedented fire of lawlessness. And the government is virtually impotent in dealing with the crime situation in this country. Under Labour, we accelerated the implementation of social programs to keep crime at bay. We had visible policing in the country. We improved the intelligence structures of the police force. That is the way for us to proceed as a civilized country to deal with the problem of crime, my brothers and my sisters. My brothers and my sisters, the Alan Chasney-led UWP administration has not made any progress in making the state's machinery more responsive to the needs of citizens and to make it more accountable. With his cluster thing, minister in that ministry, Chasney holds every ministry. And then you have some little Boy Scouts and some little Girl Guides who follow him. Some minister in this, some minister in that. And there is mass confusion. Not even Chasney himself can actually speak to the whole cluster issue and its relevance to our business. So it's a puppy show that is taking place in this country. The integrity and legitimacy of the state and the rule of law. I have already addressed that issue, my brothers and my sisters. But my brothers and sisters, I know it's getting late. And I do not want to take too much time. I need to make way for the political leader to speak to you. But I am saying to you that we are marching on November 26th to restore credibility and integrity of our country. We are marching on Sunday, November 26th to stop the demolition of the St. Jude Hospital. We are marching on Sunday, November 26th, to protect Beaufort from annexation by questionable characters like Jack Lamb and Theo Aking. We are marching on Sunday, November 26th, against the Dolphin Park. We are marching to open the Owen King EU Hospital to offer improved services to the people of our country. We are marching to put an end to oppression and disrespect in this country. And when I speak of disrespect, it started even before the elections. When the Alan Chasney match, the Orange match, they said that we were hiding $6.80 in fuel, in the fuel price. And they were marching with the placard that nice meant niggers in control of employment. That was patent disrespect in a country with a predominantly black population. And talking about a predominantly black population, you know, we're sometimes afraid to speak to issues in politics. In the United States of America, during elections, they speak about race. They speak about the issues of race. You cannot be a black man in your country. And St. Lucia is a color-blind country as far as race is concerned. Indians, whites, Caribs, everybody live as one. St. Lucia, where we are happy. And most of us are mixed. Nobody is pure of anything. And so we live like brothers and sisters. But I'll tell you something. If you are in the United States of America, and you are before a jury, with only white people and you're a black person, generally, they would not encourage that development. You look at, since the advent of Chasney and his flambeau, look at the faces of his boards. Who are the persons stopping the boards? Just take a look at it. Now I'll tell you this. We must not trivialize attacks on us. We must not. And when we speak, we are considered backing dogs. We are considered backing dogs. We cannot exist in St. Lucia like this. Prior to Alan Chasney, there was no racial issues in our politics. We are not racist in this country. And we must put an end to any racial divide in our country. Because we cannot develop our country by splitting it at any type of racial seam. We need to integrate our country in a rapidly changing global environment. So my brothers and my sisters, I end tonight by saying to you that I am braver than ever before. Somebody said to me that courage is not the absence of fear, but my fear is frozen in the high altitude of determined obedience to my God, who called upon me to oppose injustice. I will sustain my obedience to God's standards of justice. Tonight, I renew my commitment to the fight against injustice and fight for bread, justice, and freedom. We are mandated by conscience. We are mandated by what is happening in this country to collectively grant a new legacy of freedom to succeeding generations. I will fight evil in every corner of this country. Parliament, the platform, the highways and byways of this country. And do not be afraid of victimization. Turn out on Sunday, because nobody can touch you. They touch one, they touch all. And we are going to march until we get rid of that UWP government. Because it is the root cause of all the problems in this country. So my brothers and my sisters, we are not going to stop until we reestablish peace and tranquility in this country. Prepare for elections. Prepare for elections. We ain't joking. We are on the road to victory, and nothing gonna stop that. Good night, my brothers and sisters, and peace and love.
Let's say it for Brother Alva Baptiste, my sisters and my brothers. We are moving on. We urge you to join the St. Lucia Labour Party. Join the St. Lucia Labour Party Women's Organization. To my left, there is a desk and some wonderful ladies to assist you, my brothers and sisters. I remind you that we will have a complete response to the United Workers' Party because you have vanted by the people faire profit, buy a moonly. Marketing board, you have buy a moonly. Fisheries complex, buy a moonly. Foison center, you have buy one Taiwan easily. Mr. Sedam, nous ka vini pour ça. I wish to tell you, my brothers and sisters, that we are going to continue to fight so that the three people, trois mouna qui mort à di fait Saint-Jude là, yo tous les trois sortis of Beaufort North. We worked hard with the Prime Minister, Dr. Kenny Anthony, to ensure that things were put in place for the families of the three fire victims. And we will never stop fighting for them. And we will never stop fighting for the St. Jude Hospital. I'm going to bring to you a man who was born in Castries, East. A man who has fought for you for a very, 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 very long time. A man who has worked with his people. And like Dr. Kenny Anthony, has returned the seat to the St. Lucia Labour Party 5 times. So he's a 5-star general, my sisters and brothers. A man who was the Deputy Prime Minister who served in the cabinet of Dr. Kenny Anthony. A man who has served as Minister for Tourism, Minister for Commerce, and recently Minister for Infrastructure, and a wonderful job he did for the people of St. Lucia. A man who has stood firm in the Castries Basin. No matter what wave comes his way, this man stands firm. I ask you to come together. Come and listen to our leader, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, the man of Castries. The man of Castries is, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much, my brothers and my sisters. My brothers and my sisters, good night. Our country is in chaos. Our country is in crisis. Our country is in chaos and crisis because we are led by a group of selfish men. Men who put themselves and their friends before the country. We are led by men who do not care about the people of the country. We are led by men who want to make you second-class citizens in your country. We are led by men who would take taxpayers' money to acquire private property instead of fixing the schools, instead of assisting small business, instead of giving the National Trust the convention. They will take your money to acquire private lands. The United Workers' Party, they have a history of acquiring private lands and private property. They acquired Diamol for $46 million. They acquired the Black Bay lands for $80 million. Now, they want to acquire shock lands that nobody wants to buy, but they want to acquire it. They also want to acquire Red Bee lands, lands that the owners owe millions of dollars. They want to acquire it. But they will not pay teachers at the training college their stipend. They will not do that. But they will take your money to acquire these lands. I say to the United Workers' Party, where is that money coming from? Where will you get the money to acquire all these properties for your friends? I warn them. And tonight, I warn them through you, the people, and through the St. Lucia Labour Party. Do not touch the NIC funds. Do not touch the people's pensions at the National Insurance Corporation. Do not touch it. Because, to my mind, the only place where they can get that money is from the NIC funds. And if Alan Shasney believes that he can touch the NIC funds of the people of St. Lucia, all hell will break loose in this country. My brothers and my sisters, the St. Lucia Labour Party believes that government is not a business. Government cannot be a business. Government is there to protect and to help the underprivileged. Government is there to protect and to help the elderly. Government is there to help to find jobs for the young people. Government is there to help small businesses, to help young people to get into business. Government is not there to take your taxpayers' money and give it to Ojo Labs, a foreign firm that call themselves investors. You take your money, $4 million of taxpayers' money, and you even pay their salaries, my brothers and sisters. And hundreds of young people, hundreds of small business people, hundreds of people who want to get self-employed, they cannot get 1 cent to promote or to advertise or to develop their business, but you will take taxpayers' money and give it to a foreign firm called Ojo Labs. And to add insult to injury, my brothers and sisters, you will give Digicel, a telephone company, just to say that they have their head office in St. Lucia. You will allow them to pay no tax, pay no VAT, pay nothing. And you know what? You say it will benefit you because people will work as maids and they will buy things in the supermarkets. The government of the United Workers' Party is selling St. Lucia. They are giving away not only the patrimony, but they are giving away the soul of St. Lucia. They are giving away revenue from St. Lucia, my brothers and sisters. And to make it worse, they are condoning corruption. This Labour Party will condone no corruption. if there was a minister like Guy Joseph in the Labour Party who is accused of so many things, who is under investigation, I would never allow any man like Guy Joseph to sit in the cabinet of the St. Lucia Labour Party. My brothers and my sisters, you here in Jamaica tonight, an MP is being brought. Her case is being sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions because of alleged giving contracts to her friends and family. Alleged. The case was investigated by the Contractor General and is going to the Director of Public Prosecutions. But in St. Lucia, ministers can come openly and say they gave their brother job. They gave their family job. They gave their friends job, my brothers and sisters. They gave their wives job. And if their wife could open 10 schools, they would agree. But that minister remains. And you know what he is? He's the acting Prime Minister of St. Lucia. That is the state where we find ourselves in St. Lucia. And when he gets promoted, and when you talk about it, he has the audacity and the shamelessness to go on television and say he's been investigated in the Money Laundering and Terrorism Authority. What organization is the Money Laundering and Terrorism Authority? And Terrorism Authority. What organization is that? But you know, everyone stays quiet. Everyone stays quiet while the country is bleeding, my brothers and sisters. The St. Lucia Labour Party will put a stop to that nonsense and that foolishness. The St. Lucia Labour Party will respect the institutions of the state, will respect the parliament. The St. Lucia Labour Party will appoint a deputy speaker when we win the next general elections. We will not accept this foolishness and this nonsense, my brothers and sisters. In the Public Service Commission, the Public Service Commission ought to be a body with some level of impartiality. The government has appointed a man called Yuba James. Everybody knows Yuba James. And I don't like calling people's names on platform, but Yuba James's name is in the Gazette, so everybody knows that. Yuba James is a functionary. He's an advocate. He's a campaigner of the United Workers' Party. He's an operative. He was on platform all over Castries East campaigning against me. Everybody knows him. Yuba James is on the Public Service Commission in St. Lucia. The law says that a Prime Minister must write the leader of the opposition. But you know, Chasney was saying in Parliament, write him. When I want to ask him questions on the state of the economy, write him. But in that occasion, he's caused the Cabinet Secretary to write me and inform me that he was appointing Yuba James and Cyrus Reynolds to the Public Service Commission. I said to Alan Chasney through the CabSec, do not appoint Yuba James. I don't know about Cyrus. Cyrus is a flabo, but he's a flabo who is a little more quiet than Yuba James. Do not appoint Yuba James, because Yuba James will not be able to have the impartiality to make appointments according to merit on the civil service. He never even acknowledged receipt of my letter, as usual. That's the same man who tells me to write him. He didn't even say, I received your letter, but I saw in the Gazette that Yuba James is on the Public Service Commission. The Labour Party reiterates its position that we believe that the Public Service Commission should be made up of people who are impartial and not people who have a known political bias, my brothers and sisters. We believe that you must bring back integrity to the institutions of St. Lucia. And I'm very proud of the men and women of labor of the men and women in the parliament of the country from the Labour Party because of their stand. Their stand for dignity. Their stand for principle. Their stand for respect. And when these men and women become ministers in the government of St. Lucia, I can assure you, you will see a different government, a government of integrity, a government of respect, a government of public morality. My brothers and my sisters. My brothers and my sisters, the Labour Party is a party for the many, not a party for the few, not a party for the rich. It's a party for the many, a party for all. We will protect the rights of all people. We will ensure equal treatment for all persons, regardless of their race, regardless of their color. We will fight victimization and corruption at all levels, my brothers and sisters. That is the kind of government that the St. Lucia Labour Party will give to the people of St. Lucia. A government of accountability, my brothers and sisters. A government of inclusion. A government of equality. That is the government that will give the people of St. Lucia, my brothers and sisters. Tonight, I heard the Prime Minister in New York. The Prime Minister does not speak to the people of St. Lucia, but he's in New York. The Prime Minister says he has $1 billion of investments. He said he has reduced employment in 3 months. But at the same time, he said it'll take 3 years. He says he will build a new airport. He will build a new police station in Grozile. He will build a new police headquarters. He will build a highway. Listen to where he's building a highway from, From the Darren Sami grounds. He will build a highway from the Darren Sami grounds to Vieux-Fort. Makonet koi kai base. Ko highway selaka base. From the Darren Sami grounds. That's what the Prime Minister says. He will build a highway. He says that he believes in supply-side economics. Supply-side economics means he will get the rich richer. He will get the rich richer. And then the crumbs from the table of the rich, he will give to the poor. So he will develop supply-side economics. That is what the Prime Minister said in New York tonight. And if I lie, say I lie. But the Prime Minister never said in New York that he intends to imprison dolphins. He never said so. Think he's stupid? He is not stupid at all. He will never say in New York that he intends to imprison dolphins. So the Prime Minister has an economy of dreams. The Prime Minister sits and he dreams. He says that he will do so many things in St. Lucia that the GDP of St. Lucia will multiply 3 times in 5 years. You want to believe. And I heard the Bush doctor say on television that the economy is doing so well. He got the economy from rock bottom in 2016, and because of him, the economy is improving. You want to believe that these guys can say that? In fact, they have put the country in reverse. They have increased gas prices, and they want to sell 1,000 acres of your land in Vieux-Fort for at less than 99 cents per acre. They want to sell your passports and lend the money to foreigners at 2%, when you have to go to a bank and lend money at 10.5% if you want to build a house. But they want to give it to foreigners for 2%, my brothers and sisters, from the sale of your passports. The St. Lucia Labour Party says that will not happen under Labour. It cannot happen under Labour. And when we get into government, we will relook at all these schemes and all these things that are detrimental to the people of St. Lucia. Ernest Hiller told you about unemployment. Ernest Hiller told you the situation regarding the methodology they use in calculating unemployment. But I want to say, if the Labour Party was in power, real jobs would have been created. you would have been able to see the jobs. You would see the jobs on the grocery highway. You would see the jobs on the airport. You would see the jobs in the Viewfort complex at Viewfort. You would see the jobs on the Suffrage Square. You would see the jobs. I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, what jobs have the United Workers' Party created in the last 17 months? Where are the jobs that they have created in the last 17 months? But my brothers, when we tell you that the United Workers' Party is not for you, you think we are joking. I want you to be very quiet. I want you to be very quiet and listen. I want you to be very quiet. I want you to calm down. I want you to be quiet. Because I want to tell you a travesty of the United Workers' Party. I want to tell you. I want you to listen. My brothers and my sisters, last week, the United Workers' Party took a delegation of over 26 people to Germany. 27. Cost millions of dollars. They went to a COP conference. And they said, the Prime Minister said, he wants to reduce emissions. He wants to make St. Lucia a climate resilient country. He wants to do this, he wants to do that. He wants to reduce greenhouse emissions. He wants to do everything. The same Prime Minister who did not create the enabling environment for the wind farm in Dennery that would cause electricity to be much cheaper in Dennery and the surrounding areas. That's the same Prime Minister who led that delegation to COP and talked that foolishness. But listen. In January 2016, when we were in government, the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Ministry of Sustainable Development, with support from the Office of the Prime Minister, wrote a letter to the Caribbean Development Bank on the 12th of January 2016. I want you to listen to that. That letter was sent to the bank to replace all the lights, 21,500 of these high energy lights in the country. We wrote the letter to the bank and we said to the bank, that is causing a drain on our resources. That is not helping our carbon footprint. That is causing the government $11 million a year to pay for these street lamps. So we said to the Caribbean Development Bank that we wanted to change these lights to LED and high efficiency but low power use lamps. We said so to the CDB. The CDB responded on the 12th of May 2016. We wrote in January, they responded in May. And the president of the CDB recommended to the board of directors for a loan of US $11.6 million and a loan to Lucia of $1.146 million and a grant to the government of US $30,000 from the Resources for Climate Action and Support of the CDB. The CDB said that project was so good, it was such a well-conceived project, that they would waive some of the requirements. Instead of having us to fund 80%, they said, instead of having us to fund 20%, they said they would fund 90% and we'd only have to fund 10% because of the quality of that project. But the CDB said that Lucia will have to implement the project. Lucia will have to implement the project. So you know, Lucia implementing, that means government ministers not involved. Fresh start, there can't be no fresh start. There can't be any direct award. there can't be any friends and family because Lucia would have to implement that project. The bank told them that the funds were available. They could get the money almost immediately because the funds were available. And the bank said to them, because the project is so good, they will waive some of their procurement rules and regulations so they can do the project faster. The bank said all that to that. And I defy them. I defy any minister, any prime minister to say what I'm saying is not true. I defy them. They cannot say it. You know what these guys did? These guys cancelled the loan. They cancelled the loan with the CDB and they said that they will give the job to somebody in the private sector. You believe a government that is serious would cancel such a loan that would save the country 58% of $11.5 million per year, and a loan that would be repaid in 6 years, a loan that was so valuable and so important for the environment that they would waive some of their requirements. The government said no. They said they would do it on their own. So wait and see. Just wait and see who will get the contract to replace the lights in the country. Just wait and see who will get the contract to replace the lights in this country. The contract will be given to a friend, to family, or to somebody with deep contacts within the government and with deep contacts within the United Workers' Party. My brothers and my sisters, when a government can make such reckless decisions, when a government can put its friends and its family before the people of St. Lucia, this government must be taken off the backs of the people of St. Lucia. The Labour Party would never make such decisions. When we get into power, we will look closely at the award of that contract. And that's not a threat. That's a reality. We will do it. We will look at what were the issues that caused the government to cancel that CDB loan and award it to a private firm. We do not know who the private firm is yet. But we are putting the private firm on warning. We are warning them. We are telling them, make sure that your house is in order. We're putting them on notice to make sure that your house is in order. Make sure. But in the meantime, the Labour Party is committed to renewable energy. We are committed to the creation of a green economy in St. Lucia, my brothers and sisters. My brothers and my sisters, you are here tonight, I'm sure, because many of you want to hear about St. Jude's. And why do you want to hear about St. Jude's? Because the government's first expression on St. Jude's were they would demolish the St. Jude Hospital. I say to the government, if you want to demolish something, why don't you demolish Diamol? Go and demolish Diamol. You took $30 million of taxpayers' money to buy Diamol. Diamol is there not like a white elephant. It's there like, I don't know what it's like. Go and demolish it instead. Go and use Diamol to put your medical center. Use Diamol. Why don't you repurpose Diamol? Why is our hospital you want to demolish? And when we tell you, the Labour Party will never allow you to demolish, you say demolish is not demolish. You will part demolish. You'll demolish some of it. We are saying to the government, do not touch St. Jude's Hospital. Leave St. Jude's Hospital alone. Complete St. Jude's Hospital. The people of the South need St. Jude Hospital. St. Jude Hospital is a facility for the people of the south of the country who now are suffering. And if it wasn't for the nurses and the doctors, there would be a calamity in the health services in Beaufort South at the George Odlum Stadium. It's because of the hard work of the nurses and the doctors and the staff of the stadium that St. Jude Hospital can survive. But my brothers, there were nice workers at the stadium. The government fired the nice workers. And I hear that nurses now have to mop the floors, have to change bedpans, because the government sent the nice workers who were working at the George Odlum Stadium home. I say tonight to the nurses and the doctors, the Labour Party salutes you. The Labour Party thanks you for the work that you are doing in the health services of St. Lucia. The Labour Party thanks you, my brothers and sisters. So, my brothers and sisters, the government does not care about the health services. All what you hear about St. Jude is lies. They started by going to search people's residence and say there is equipment there. The United Workers' Party was responsible for St. Jude's for 46 months. The Labour Party was responsible for St. Jude for 58 months. The Labour Party never stopped construction of St. Jude's. We never stopped construction. Hospitals around the world. And anytime I tell you something, I want you to go and check it for yourselves. Hospitals around the world take about 6 to 10 years to complete. 6 to 10 years between the planning, between approvals, and between the design and construction. 6 to 10 years, my brothers and sisters. So when they tell you, why did Labour complete the St. Jude Hospital? That is nonsense. Labour always intended to complete the St. Jude Hospital, and Labour was always working on the St. Jude Hospital. So tell them, take that and go away. That is the usual lies and flashing mirrors. My brothers and my sisters, the United Workers' Party, they are the ones who began construction of St. Jude Hospital. They spent $39 million on St. Jude Hospital. But out of that $49 million, they only raised $14 million. It was the Labour Party who raised the majority of money for the St. Jude Hospital. It was this Labour Party who raised the majority of money for the St. Jude Hospital, brothers and sisters. The United Workers' Party, as we speak, they have a balance of $41 million that they can use to continue construction on the St. Jude Hospital. Why is the government not continuing construction of the St. Jude Hospital when you have the money at hand? The money is available to do it. Why isn't the government not doing it, my brothers and sisters? My brothers and my sisters, St. Jude Hospital, a firm from Canada came down to verify and to ensure that the St. Jude Hospital meets international standards. That firm was here. They gave the contractors a blueprint as to what they should do to improve St. Jude Hospital to bring it to be a world-class hospital. So everything was in place. They tell you that the windows too small, there are no place to pass in the corridor. All the issues of St. Jude Hospital were raised in a handover report that the government concealed. The government refused to tell the people that there was a handover report prepared by consultants and engineers that they appointed. We never got rid of the consultants and the engineers they appointed. If the government was not acting in bad faith, all the government had to do is to call the people who were working on the hospital and tell them, give us an idea of what is happening. Give us an account of your stewardship. Tell us where we are. Tell us what is the way forward. But no, they fired them. And they concealed from you that there was an handover report because their intention was always to demolish the St. Jude Hospital. And if it wasn't for the work and the advocacy of the concerned citizens of Vieux and the St. Lucia Labour Party and the mobilization and their fear of the wrath of the people, the United Workers' Party would have demolished the St. Jude Hospital. But thank God, you have stood up. You the people of Labour, you have stood up. You the people of the South, you have stood up. And the St. Jude Hospital will not be demolished. It cannot be demolished. And we demand that they continue construction of the St. Jude Hospital and open it at the earliest possible opportunity. They tell you about costs. And people who know better, I want to give you an idea of how much hospitals cost around the world to build. And you can check it for yourself. Anything I tell you, I want you to check it. Not Guy Joseph economics. Not Guy Joseph. If you see for yourself, they have no plan. Not Guy Joseph economics. Not Guy Joseph's nonsense. Not Guy Joseph's foolishness. Facts. 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 The Owen King Hospital. And I want you to understand the difference between construction of the Owen King Hospital and the St. Jude Hospital. There was never any lump sum of money available for St. Jude. The money had to be collected. The Prime Minister had to go and look for loans in Taiwan. We had to have grants. The Foreign Minister had to look for grants to build St. Jude Hospital. So there was no money as such to build St. Jude Hospital. And anytime I heard somebody say that money was not in the estimates, I challenged them to look in the estimates from the year 2010, and you will see that in the estimates there was always an allocation for the St. Jude Hospital, either from grants or loans that the government took. And it was this Labour Party who collected the most money, who created the environment for the further construction of the St. Jude Hospitals. And St. Jude Hospital, in its current trajectory, will cost about $992 per square foot of construction. And I want you to check it for yourself. A prototype hospital of the same size as St. Jude in the United States will cost $1,135 per square foot. The Owen King Hospital costs $1,158 per square foot. The hospital that's been built in Arima in Trinidad and Tobago costs $1,964 per square foot. And the hospital has been built in Point Fortin in Trinidad and Tobago costs $3,885 per square foot. But the St. Jude Hospital costs $992 per square foot because of the fact that we are taking our time to build it, but it must take time. And if you look at how much time it takes to build hospitals, you will see that St. Jude Hospital is not taking any inordinate length of time, because hospitals throughout the world, they are built within 6 to 10 years. So the question is, the government has always acted in bad faith as it relates to St. Jude's. The government always had a plan for St. Jude, but we blocked the plan. We blocked the plan. We caused them to retract. So now you heard them saying, that's not what they say, and why must we say this if the Prime Minister says that he's not going to demolish St. Jude? We are saying that because the government began. The government had wrong intention. The government, in all their pronouncements, what they wanted to do was to believe that one of us was involved in corruption. One of us was involved in bad dealings. One of us was involved in collecting money. So they thought they would be able to use St. Jude to embarrass and to take revenge on members of the St. Lucia Labour Party. But I said to them, you can jump high, you can jump low. You can investigate, you can uninvestigate. You can cause a commission of inquiry. You will never find any member of the St. Lucia Labour Party involved in any corruption as far as St. Jude or any other project is concerned. And I challenge them to go ahead and do your investigation. Do your forensic investigation. Take taxes money and whatever you want. But you have better chance of seeing God's face and a blue donkey than to find any member of the St. Lucia Labour Party involved in corruption. My brothers and sisters, we are marching on Sunday. We are marching on Sunday. And everyone who is silent in the face of these injustices, your silence will condemn you. The day of reckoning is nigh. Your patrimony is at stake. Your dignity is being compromised and your country is failing. You have an opportunity now to stand on the side of right, to stand on the side of justice. Your failure to act will result in you being swept aside in the tide of change that will soon sweep St. Lucia. The time to act is now, and the St. Lucia Labour Party is on a non-reverse mission to get this vindictive government off the backs of St. Lucians. This is the fight to return St. Lucia to the people. St. Lucians from across the political divide will be marching under the banner of bread, freedom, and justice. They'll be marching for the completion of St. Jude Hospital. We'll be marching for the opening of the Owen King Hospital. We'll be marching for the opening of the dialysis units. We'll be marching for against the DSH project. We'll be marching against taking 1,000 acres of our land and giving it to foreigners. We will be marching for the completion of the Soufrière Square. We will be marching for the reinstatement of the Vieux-Fort Administrative Complex project. We will be marching to stop Hiwanora Airport project in the way the United Workers' Party is conceiving it to be able to give it to their friends and family. We'll be marching for our health services in the south of the country and for better health services in the country generally. Brothers and sisters, this is the turning point in our history. And St. Lucia needs all of you to stand up for it. The time when our forefather, Sir George Charles, stood up against colonial exploitation. We have to stand up against the exploitation and the reversals of Alan Chasney and his government. Leaders of the Labour Party have fought. We have fought. From these market steps, we have led struggle for the liberation of the people of St. Lucia. And this Labour Party will continue in that vein. We'll continue to protect the people of St. Lucia. And that is why you have to march on Sunday. Now is the time for you to stand up. You have to stand up against exploitation by big business. You have to stand up against selling your lands and taking your money to give it to foreigners. Now is the time to stand up. Now is the time to say enough is enough. Now is the time to stop the sale of your land to foreigners at 99 cents. So on Sunday afternoon, my brothers and sisters, when you assemble on the Larishu Square, don't think about yourself, think about your children, think about your grandchildren, think about your country. Do it for yourself and for your country, my brothers and sisters. Our message is clear. Our message is clear. No demolition, no repurposing, no alternative use. Continue construction of the St. Jude Hospital immediately. Our message is clear. And this is the message that the whole country must rally around. This is a message not for you, but for your children. This is a message for the people of the South who now cannot get adequate health care, my brothers and sisters. This is a message to show the United Workers' Party that the sins that they have committed against the people of St. Lucia, these sins, they must pay for the sins they have committed, my brothers and sisters. So I say to you, on Sunday, I want all of you to join the members of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Join us all. Join us on the Larishu playing field when we, in one voice, under one banner, with a united vision, with a determination and a love for St. Lucia, we will march. We will march for St. Lucia. We will march for the benefit of our country, and we will march for better health services. I thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much. Let's hype for Honorable Philip J. Pierre, the leader of our party, my brothers and sisters.